Welcome back to the Full Frame Podcast. I am with Morgan and Andrea today, talking about the pre-production process. So we're going through this whole process of what's this package that we offer as Avian to our customers, from pre-production, which we're talking about today, all the way up to distribution, which will be the last episode of the series. And really getting into the nitty-gritty details about what's expected within each of those stages. So before we get too far into today's conversation, Morgan and Andrea, do you want to introduce yourselves? Whoever would like to go first.
Yeah, I'll go first quickly. I'm Morgan Hoey. I was in our first episode, and I'm the Senior Director of Training, Multimedia, and Consulting at Avian, and I helped start our video production team. Andrea?
My name is Andrea Templeton, and I'm a video producer with Avian, and I have a background starting educationally in film and media studies, and I worked in the entertainment industry in DC and Los Angeles for about 10 years, and then I worked public affairs for naval aviation for a while and absolutely fell in love with aviation and working in that arena, and have been doing video production in that area for the last few years.
Awesome. And you're relatively new to Avian still, but your experience is vast. So we'll get into, I'm sure we'll get into some of the experiences that you've had throughout your career soon. Let's just, I guess, outline what we're going to talk about. So within the pre-production process, we have like that initial phase of planning, and then scripting, storyboarding, and all within there, you're talking with the customer, making sure that you're getting inputs from them. At that first phase of the planning and research, what's that look like? I imagine that's the time where you're coming up with ideas and really just pitching everything at, like, what's that saying where you're throwing things at the chalkboard or whatever?
Spaghetti at the wall.
Yes, exactly.
You throw at the chalkboard.
I don't know.
What's it?
When we first get a project, that usually starts with a kickoff meeting with the customer where we sit down and understand what it really is that they're looking for, because that really does feed a lot of our research. It fuels kind of the direction of the video and helps us define that end goal. And typically we start off with a nice team brainstorming session. Sometimes that's, a group of folks coming together to look at existing material and thinking about how we may be able to improve upon it or repackage it, or take a different approach that is going to get the customer close to that goal. Sometimes that's also looking and doing some research about what other similar projects exist and how we can create something that's new and different, that's not like anything that's ever been done before.
I agree with all of that. That's I like to always think, who are we trying to affect, and what do we want to do to them, and where are we right now? So really, where do we want them to be? Who are they, and where are they right now? And then what's the path? And that is very wide view. But I think that leads into everything that Morgan was talking about. Once we know that, then we know how to frame the kind of content, because, knowing that effect that we want to have is going to affect design elements and content. And is it going to be funny? Is it going to be light? Is it going to be educational? What do we need in there to have the desired effect?
Yeah. So I'm going to spill some secrets. We're obviously not recording these in sequence, so I know what we've talked about already. But one of the cool themes that I think has come out of these recordings is the fact that, well, obviously, these are not videos for us. These are videos for our customers. And like Andrea just said, making sure that we're hitting the audiences, hitting the messages that our customers need to hit and need to get out to their workforce or whoever their audience is super important. And obviously one of the things that you guys focus on most. And then making it easy for them. So having those ideas for where we can pitch it to them and they can just kind of say, hey, that's a good idea, or that's not a good idea, or combine these two ideas. And I really like that kind of thing. So making it easy for them is also something that I've seen and you guys have talked about, your team has talked about a lot in these recordings, which is really cool that it kind of goes through all of the recordings. So we do that planning and research phase. Let's talk about the research a little bit. How do you do that? How do you conduct research when you're first coming up with all these ideas?
So I think it depends on the topic. So Andrea and I right now are working on a project for New Mexico Tech, and we are actually making some videos for law enforcement that are about responding to bombing incidents. So both Andrea and I do not have personal experience in that field, very limited knowledge. So first we went through any course material that was available to us just to learn, what we could about the topic. I think we both did some independent research to look at what this style of training video looks like. So just any type of first responder training. There are a myriad of different incidents, that there are training videos out there for. So we were able to look at some videos that were related to other types of incidents and get some inspiration, what we did and did not like from those videos, what elements we definitely want to include in our videos, and how we want to set them apart. I think that one thing that Andrea has picked up on in writing the scripts for these she's really cued into what the finer details of these scenarios are going to be. So it's not just top level dialogue. Andrea has really been thinking critically about like what all of the body language is going to be on camera, what emotions are going to be portrayed on camera, and those types of things, in my opinion, are going to set this project apart from other samples that we've seen. So, just seeing what is in existence and figuring out how we want to put that together in our own way.
Yeah, and I think that one of the key things about this, and with a lot of the work that we do, working with government entities, is that we have a lot of relationship with subject matter experts. So in working on these scripts, I really had to get inside the intention of what they were looking for, and I came up with a basic script outline to give them something clear to look at, and then they could make the minor tweaks that they needed to make as far as how, making it accurate for how law enforcement would approach these situations. And also, this is kind of a choose your own adventure piece. Like, it's a story, but they're doing it so they can pause and talk about what's going to happen. So we created a scenario that then is going to stimulate that conversation amongst the people in the room. And so it was a lot of collaboration with the subject matter experts to make sure that we were leading them up to the point that they wanted to be with the people that they were in training with. So it's been a fun relationship working with them.
Thank you guys so much for watching the first part of this episode. If you want to learn more about our video production team and specifically the virtual tours that they've produced, you can go to avian.com/virtual tours. That's avian.com/virtual tours. You can learn about all of the services that they provide and see some of the videos that they've produced in the past as well. Thank you again for listening to this podcast. Tune in next week for the next part of this episode.